My name is Brittany Bowens, and it's spelled Brittany. My last name is Bowens, Bowens. I'm Maleah's mother. This is the flyers that we're passing out right now down here in City Hall, in Sugar Land. If anybody wants to come out and join and support us, I would greatly appreciate that. I just want to find Maleah. I just want to find Maleah. And I love her so much. I love her so much. If there's anybody that can help me, please. Please. I just want to find my baby. I just want to find her. Help me find her, please. Help me find her. Anything helps. Share a post, share the flyer, anything. Anything helps, and it's greatly appreciated, and I mean that from my heart. I mean that with every bit of me.
What up, what up? It's iCkEdMeL. And that was really hard to watch. I mean, I got goosebumps. I almost got teary. I could hear her pain. And that's one of my biggest fears in life. You know, I'm a paranoid parent. She had 3 head surgeries, man. It's so sickening to me that parents can allow that to happen to their kids. A human can do that to a child, to a baby, and that another human that is the biological parent could watch their child get beat and send them right back to that. How do you do that? How you could do that? It's beyond me. It's bewildering. It's disgusting. And it's an embarrassment. That's why you don't want to talk about it. I wouldn't want to talk about it either. Bruh, if your child getting brain damage isn't enough for you and your child getting taken away from the house by CPS and coming back, if that isn't enough for you, I don't know what it's going to be. And that's probably the reason why custody was taken away from both of these people.
Court records we uncovered paint a darker picture of the little girl's life over the last several months. Documents we obtained from the Harris County clerk show that last August, the Department of Family and Protective Services received a report alleging physical abuse and neglectful supervision of Maleah. She was living with her mother, Brittany Bowens, and stepfather, Darian Vance, at the time. The state got involved after Maleah's mother brought her to the hospital with a head injury. Doctors had to do surgery to remove half of her skull. When Maleah got out of ICU, doctors ordered that she wear a helmet for 12 to 24 months while she healed. But that was not Maleah's first trip to the ER. According to records, 3 weeks earlier on July 10th, Bowens took Maleah to the ER after she was throwing up blood. Doctors reported Maleah was extremely lethargic. Maleah was treated and sent home. The very next week, on July 28th, Maleah was back in the hospital for a cut to her forehead. Medical professionals reported she had blood just outside of her brain. Neither parent was able to tell doctors what could have caused it. Bowens said she was hurt after falling from a chair, but medical professionals said that would not have caused the serious internal injuries. Doctors reported they were concerned about abuse. But in the end, the court found they could not confirm whether or not those injuries were caused by abuse. The CPS caseworker noted she had reason to believe there was neglectful supervision on Brittany Bowens' part, but nothing more. Child Protective Services has had temporary custody of Maleah since August, but they confirm she and her siblings were placed with a relative in February. The court ordered that Maleah's parents take a parenting class. According to those records, neither has done so.
So you guys tell me what you think as far as the child abuse. This took me down a rabbit hole, okay, like hours. The mother, to be fair, she denies that this was child abuse. She said it was an accident. The child fell. The child, okay, went 3 weeks earlier to the hospital, extremely lethargic, which is consistent with some sort of head injury, which could happen, okay. They took her to the ER. The child was sent home. A week later, she's back to the hospital with a cut on her forehead, okay. Professionals reported that she had blood outside of her brain, which could be life-threatening, all right. Bowen said that she fell from the chair, the mother. Now, what the medical professional said in court was that the injuries aren't consistent with falling off of a chair. It would have not caused a serious internal injury, which required half of her skull to be removed. Maleah suffered some traumatic brain injury with evidence of more than one injury while in possession of the mother and Darion. Neither caregiver had an explanation that was consistent with the injury. So CPS concluded that there was neglectful supervision. The doctor and the court, they couldn't confirm whether it was abuse. That's why the court, I guess, couldn't confirm. So it's kind of like up in the air. CPS still had temporary custody. Now, one of the most interesting things before we get into the rabbit hole, right, was, well, one is that they were supposed to go to some parenting classes. They didn't show up for that. If I was a parent and my child was taken away from me or had temporary custody by CPS, you better damn well believe that I'm going to go to that parenting class if I cared. And the other thing, check this out. The case was still ongoing and CPS has temporary custody. The next court date was set for May 22nd. May 22nd. That's later this month. And Maleah goes missing within the same month before that court date. And the stepfather is suspected of having something to do with this. It's just kind of interesting. I'm just thinking out loud. Tell me what you think.
A judge revisited the case back in April. It's set to go back to court on May 22nd.
Before this video starts, there's a lot of dynamics to it. And just to give you a little oversight, a synopsis of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about first about the missing girl, the details of what she looks like, where she was last seen. We're going to talk about the father's story. The stepfather, I should say. The stepfather that changed his story multiple times, as reported by the police. And I find him to be very suspicious. We're also going to talk about the location where the cars were found. We're going to talk about the child abuse history and the fact that CPS took the children away one time because of the head injuries that Maleah Davis had. She had 3 head surgeries, man. It's so sickening to me that parents can allow that to happen to their kids. But anyway, I digress for now. Let's start with the most important thing, and that is the Amber Alert, the description, where she was last seen. The Amber Alert was issued on May 4th, I believe, on a Saturday. Maleah Davis last seen on 16500 block of Southwest Freeway in North Houston, Texas on Saturday around 9 p.m. Now, the description was Maleah was wearing a pink bow in her hair with a light blue zip-up jacket, blue jeans, and gray, white, and pink sneakers. She has black hair, brown eyes, and stands at 3 feet tall, weighing 30 to 40 pounds. The stepfather was in the car with his stepson and Maleah, and they were on the way to the airport to pick up the mother. Now, he claims here that he heard some popping noise. He pulls over to investigate, and 3 strangers, and other reports is 3 Hispanics. All the reports mention it was 2 males, pull up in a blue pickup truck. He says they come there, they knock him out with a gun. The stepfather also says, Vince, that he was unconscious for a day. When he came to, it was just him and the stepson. From what I'm hearing from different reports and different news media outlets, he hasn't been that forthcoming for investigators. Changed the story a couple times. They had a hard time reaching out to him because they wanted to get him with a sketch artist to give a description of the 3 men that he said took the daughter.
Texas Equus Search was blunt with us. He says he doesn't buy the stepfather's story about the alleged abduction, and he said we're in trouble. Within the last 90 minutes, the search for Maleah Davis shifted more than 30 miles away to Southwest Houston, near Kirkwood and Bissonnet.
We are in trouble. Bottom line, we are in trouble. Of course, I believe in miracles, and we've had many of them. I don't think we're going to have a good ending. I hope we have an ending.
The official story on how Maleah went missing seems extreme. Vince told HPD 3 men abducted the little girl near Greens Road in the East Tex Freeway on Friday evening and then beat and dumped him in Sugar Land. He told investigators He doesn't remember any solid details.
The father, being assaulted and them all abducted and then released, it sort of sounds almost like a made-for-TV movie. And I think that anytime it's sort of outside the norm, people pay attention to it.
What do you guys think so far? I'm not buying his story, man. I know some people might see the whole headbutt, gun butt, as well, he couldn't have done that. I've heard some really crazy crime stories, like crazy. I mean, to the point where there was this one story where this mother literally shot 3 or 4 of her kids in the back seat and then shot herself and tried to make up a story about somebody trying to rob them, and she fought them off and defended them. And I don't know how many of the kids died. People have done crazy stuff and then do some sort of non-life-threatening injury to get away with something. It's just so disturbing to me because I could see, like, my daughter. It bothers me a lot when I look at these kids, these little girls that look like my daughter, that have similarities. Like, it bothers me to my soul, and I'm honestly holding back because when it comes to kids, I go all out. Somebody the other day commented on one of my videos, "Oh, you're biased." I'm so biased towards kids. You know what I'm saying? Biased. 100%. What a rough life and the kids always have to pay for the parents and for everybody else's crap, right? The kids always have to pay. Going to CPS, getting taken away, separated from the family that she's perceived to know, then getting sent back into that because the system failed you, then getting beat over the head. 3 head surgeries, brain surgeries. Let that sink in. It's just so disturbing to me that a human can do that to a child, to a baby, and that another human that is the biological parent could watch their child get beat and send them right back to that. How do you do that? Let me play the clip for you where now the parents, both of them, have lost complete custody of all their kids and their stepchildren. I don't know how many biological and stepchildren they had, but they lost custody of all the children. This is what I've talked about before too, that if you're a parent and something's going on with your kid and you're just standing there and you're watching and you're not doing anything about it to get yourself out of that situation or your child out of that situation, they can damn near take the children away from both of you. Check out the next clip.
Of this story, we uncovered over 300 documents yesterday showing this case with Maleah tied up in court over custody and allegations of abuse and neglect. And we have just learned that the court has ordered that Maleah's mother, Brittany Bowens, and the stepfather, Darian Vance, have no contact with either of their children until further notice. That just in from the court. Maleah's mother, Brittany Bowens, and the stepfather, Darian Vance, have 0 contact with the children. That's an order from the court. Also, Maleah's younger half-brother, he has been placed with his paternal grandmother. We have mentioned this in our reports yesterday. Also, her other brother is with an aunt. And when Maleah is returned, the court says that she should be placed with her brother at the aunt's house. So at this point, we know that neither one of the parents are able to contact, or they should not be, according to a court order, with any of the children until further notice.
So the next clip I want to play is the biological father, where he states that he wants answers, and he states the stepfather's name. And that whole stepfather, biological father, that's a good question, right? That's a good concept. That's a good, well, does it even make sense? It's a good thing to talk about because Jesse Lee Peterson, I don't want to bring him too much into this, but I like a lot of the things he says on family value. I've learned so much from him, not having a father to teach me. And I believe he's so right. This is just more confirmation for me when he says that if you and mom don't work out with the marriage or whatever, you have no business getting your child a step parent, a replacement or whatever. You should be selfless. You should be sacrificing for your child. You shouldn't be throwing your child into other people's relationships and other kids and creating all this confusion and all this havoc. You should do and be the best you can for your child. I totally agree with that. I was unsure about that. I was kind of on the fence, and I know that's a hard thing because people get lonely and all this other stuff, but I mean, just look at this case. I can't imagine how the father feels.
There are so many unanswered questions. It's not for the public to answer them for me. It's not for police officers to answer them for me. It's not for the news to answer them for me. It's for Darian.
So I think we've come to the end of the video. You guys comment below. You let me know your thoughts. The most important person in this whole thing, regardless of the mother, regardless of the stepfather. The mother, she made a very compelling plea. But at the end of the day, I have to look at the facts that I don't know how you could be there and watch your child get beat and get brain damage and like somehow, and how the system sends the child back. If that's the course of events from what I read in the article, I don't know how you could do that. It's beyond me. It's bewildering. It's disgusting. And it's an embarrassment. That's why you don't want to talk about it. I wouldn't want to talk about it either. But, and at the end of the day, I say the child is the most important thing because you don't even have custody now. Maybe you will get custody in the future. I don't know. But you guys don't even have custody. So the most important thing is this little girl, this child that's missing, that's gone, that I think the stepfather has something to do with it. And it's just so sad to me that these children always have to pay the price. The innocent always has to pay the price. Getting brain surgery at 4 years old, or however it was when she got it. Brain surgery. Causing that kind of trauma on your child, or watching it happen and not do anything about it. Let me say this. For the biological father, man, I don't know, I doubt you'll come across this video, but if you do, man, I would say just try to keep yourself together. Don't go do anything crazy. I couldn't imagine what I would do. It would be so hard to keep myself, to control myself. I know myself. I don't know what I would do. I'll pray for you, man. I'll pray for you, and I'll pray for your daughter. Keep yourself, try to keep your head cool. Have hope. And get custody of this kid. If they find the kid or whatever, get custody of this kid. This is just too crazy. You know, all parents aren't alike. It's so shameful that a mother would risk and put her child through this kind of situation. You know, if there's other details we don't know, if the mother's being held against her will, chained or something like that, she was feared for her life. I mean, I've heard of so many stories with those situations that they just aren't easy. But, bruh, if your child getting brain damage isn't enough for you, and your child getting taken away from the house by CPS and coming back, if that isn't enough for you, I don't know what it's going to be. And that's probably the reason why custody was taken away from both of these people. So sad and frustrating. And believe me when I tell you that I held back a lot on this video because I want to wait for more of the details. Oh, I held back a lot. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Share the video. Or honestly, I don't even care if you share the video. Share. I'll post some links. Share the link. Share her picture. Share the thing. If you're in Texas, keep an eye out. Though, honestly, man, who knows where these people are at. If they have her captured, if she's not passed away, you know, if this guy didn't plan it and kill her and dump her somewhere, if she's captured or somewhere, you know, she could be in any state by now, you know, and the fact that she had 3 brain surgeries, she probably needs a lot of medical care or special supervision. It's just so sad, man. And for what?
I see potential subscribers. Subscribe for more. This is the mother info war.